Do online gambling platforms, especially giants like PA, formerly AG, really rig their games? I can tell you directly that a developer of PA's caliber neither deigns nor needs to resort to petty tricks with the card outcomes. You might jump up and retort that you've personally witnessed bizarre card runs, seen unnatural dealer movements, or observed that results after network lag always turn out to your disadvantage. I understand how you feel, because every person who loses everything would rather believe they lost to a conspiracy than to themselves. But reality is often crueler and simpler. Most of the time, those screen delays and lags are purely technical issues, inevitable losses in network signals crossing oceans, just like your video calls sometimes freeze. As for card patterns, that's even more of a joke. Everything at the gambling table, in the face of probability, is inherently coincidental. You find it bizarre only because the outcome doesn't match your expectations. You always think a long streak is due to break, or that a single double run should stop. But what is a casino? A casino is precisely the place designed to shatter your feelings. So if the platform itself isn't rigging games, why do so many of us fall into it, one after another, leaving mountains of bones? To understand this, you first need to grasp the pyramid structure of the entire online gambling world and realize who you're actually gambling against. The myriad websites you usually encounter, Venetian, Sun City, Macau XX, all have fancy, grand names, but in essence, they are merely tenants. Companies like PA and BBAN are the landlords, the developers. They develop games, build platforms, provide technical maintenance, and then package and lease the entire system to thousands of agents. These agents are your true bookmakers. Now let's talk about how money flows. This is the core of all the murky dealings. Landlord PA's profit model is a stable rake. Regardless of whether you win or lose, as long as your money enters the agent's account, PA first deducts a percentage, known in the trade as a point fee or setup fee, typically ranging from 8% to 15%. Let's take a middle ground, say 10%. What does this mean? If you deposit 10,000 renminbi, before you even place a single bet, PA has already taken 1,000 renminbi. The remaining 9,000 renminbi then enters your agent boss's fund pool. Next, you start playing with that 9,000 renminbi. If you win, for example, winning up to 20,000 and wanting to withdraw 30,000, that 30,000 renminbi is paid out by the agent boss from their fund pool. If the pool isn't enough, they have to pay out of their own pocket. If you lose everything, that 9,000 renminbi naturally goes into their pocket. And PA, from beginning to end, it only took its fixed 1,000 renminbi rent. Whether you subsequently win or lose, live or die, has nothing to do with it. Do you understand now? PA has no reason to cheat because it doesn't need to bear the risk of you winning. Its profit is fixed. Cheating would bring it more harm than good. Once a cheating scandal is exposed, its reputation as a landlord would be ruined. No agent would dare lease its platforms again, and its entire business empire would instantly collapse. So it will do its best to maintain an apparently fair environment. This is the foundation of its business model. The one truly engaged in a zero-sum game with you, the one truly hoping you lose everything, is the agent silently collecting money behind you. Every penny you win comes directly out of their pocket. These agents, commonly referred to as platform owners or bookmakers, are the most crucial link in this ecosystem. Who are they? They're a mixed bag, people from all walks of life. Some are teams with considerable capital abroad, specializing in this business. Others might be small business owners in China with a bit of spare cash, looking for a shady sideline. They obtain agent rights from PA and start their business. Their primary task is to attract customers, known as driving traffic or promotion. Thus, a vast and nefarious promotion industry chain is born. Why do you frequently receive international calls, tempting texts, and emails offering sign-up bonuses and percentage rebates on deposits? Because your information has long been sold. As long as you've registered on any gambling-related website, or even just browsed one, your phone number and IP address will be bundled and sold, circulating among hundreds of agents. Those promoters who call you, known as dog pushers in the slang, many of whom were tricked into going abroad, had their passports confiscated, have no personal freedom, and are forced to meet KPIs every day, are truly pitiful. Their sales pitches are honed through countless iterations, precisely targeting the gambler's psychology. They'll tell you how good the platform's reputation is, how high the rebates are, and show you screenshots of others winning and withdrawing money, all faked, of course. Their only goal is to get you to register and deposit on their website. Besides professional promotion teams, there's a more insidious way to recruit people: agent recruiting agents, or human head agents. Some desperate, down-and-out gamblers are developed by bookmakers as their downlines. The bookmaker will give them an exclusive promotion link and tell them that as long as they refer friends to play through this link, they can get a certain percentage of commission from the money their friends lose. This commission rate typically ranges from 20% to 50%, which is extremely tempting. Thus, these people, already deeply mired, will desperately prey on their relatives, friends, and colleagues to get a meager commission to continue their own gambling. They will package online gambling as a financial investment, an easy way to make money, using lies and deception to drag you down. If you lose, they get a commission. If you win, while they don't get a commission, the bookmaker will emotionally manipulate them in various ways to make them recruit more people to fill the void. This is a death spiral where everyone loses. You think the person who brought you in is a friend, but they just want to drink your blood to quench their own thirst. Now let's delve deeper and talk about the birth of scam sites, or black nets. Why do some people win money but can never withdraw it? This brings us to the agent hierarchy. A large master agent, let's call them a Tier 1 platform owner, might subdivide their platform, allowing others to take over, creating Tier 2 and Tier 3 platforms. This sub-platform model greatly lowers the barrier to entry for becoming a bookmaker. Perhaps a small business owner with a few $100,000 in spare cash and some promotional resources can take over a sub-platform from a Tier 1 owner and operate it themselves. The Tier 1 owner promises them an 8.5% profit share, pocketing a steady 1.5% difference. This small bookmaker, who takes on a sub-platform, will have a very shallow fund pool, perhaps only those few $100,000. The risk begins here. If their players are all small-time, losing more than they win, the small bookmaker will naturally make a fortune. But what if, and I mean what if, a nemesis appears, a player with incredible luck or superior skill, who turns a few tens of thousands of capital into millions overnight? At this point, the small bookmaker is dumbfounded. Their entire fund pool combined might not be enough to pay out this sum. Paying means instant bankruptcy, perhaps even debt. What about not paying? The only option is to scam you. So, the risk control department makes its appearance. This department is the last line of defense for all agents, and they are the enforcers of their unscrupulous behavior. When your withdrawal amount is too large, or your betting behavior is deemed abnormal by them, risk control will intervene. They will find all sorts of absurd reasons to delay you, or even refuse your withdrawal. Common excuses include: your IP address has an abnormal login, your betting behavior involves illegal arbitrage, the system detected a risk in your account, or the finance department is settling accounts, please wait patiently. They'll ask you to provide all sorts of proof, such as photos of you holding your ID, bank statement screenshots, exhausting you completely. This process can last from a few days to several weeks. Their purpose is twofold. First, to wear down your patience, making you unable to resist betting again during the wait, and losing back the money you won. Second, to lay the groundwork for finally scamming you. When all your patience is exhausted and you confront them, they will directly freeze your account and block your contact information. From then on, everything you had on that website vanishes. The money you won from beginning to end was just a string of false numbers. You never truly owned it. This is the truth about scam sites. It's not a specific website, but a behavior. Any agent who can't afford to pay can instantly become a scam site. When you choose to bet on a website, it's like playing Russian roulette. You don't know how deep the pockets of your opponent, the agent hiding behind the screen, really are. You might win $100,000 on website A and withdraw it smoothly, thinking it's reputable, but when you win $1 million next time, it might show its fangs. So-called reputation only exists because you haven't won enough yet, haven't touched their bottom line. Therefore, stop foolishly asking others which platform has a good reputation. In this world, there is no absolute reputation, only eternal profit. Now, let's turn our attention back to the gamblers themselves. Why do we knowingly head for danger? Why do we lose everything time and again, yet repeatedly find ways to get more money to go back? This can no longer be simply summarized as greed. This is a deep-seated psychological illness, a demon of the mind infinitely amplified by modern technology. Let's review the complete psychological journey of a gambler. Initially, you might just be bored or influenced by a friend, and with a just-for-fun attitude, you deposit a few $100s. To retain you, the platform often gives you a newbie halo, letting you in a little money in the beginning. At this point, you feel wonderful. You believe you've found a way to make money that's 100 times easier than working. Your brain is flooded with the pleasure of dopamine, and you start to have the illusion that I can control the situation. This is the beginning of the fall. Immediately after, you'll experience your first major loss. This could be due to an impulsive, heavy bet or a run of bad cards. In that moment, an immense sense of loss and resentment will instantly overwhelm your mind. You can't accept that your ducks flew away after being cooked, and your first reaction isn't to stop, but to get it back, known as chasing losses or breaking even. From then on, the purpose of your gambling shifts from winning money to getting back to even. This is a fatal transition. To break even, your bets will get larger and larger, your shintat will become more and more impatient, and you'll start ignoring so-called patterns and techniques, leaving only red-eyed, frantic clicking. This state is called going on tilt. Once you're on tilt, you're no longer yourself, but a walking corpse manipulated by desire and resentment. Money in your eyes completely loses its meaning in the real world. It's no longer rent, food money, or your child's formula money, but merely chips or points that can be freely added or subtracted on a screen. 10,000 RMB might just be the amount of a single bet for you, but in reality, it could be a month's salary or several months of living expenses for a family. This distortion of the value of money is the most terrifying aspect of online gambling. It makes you spend lavishly in a virtual world, only to pay a painful price for it in the real world. To raise gambling funds, you'll start lying. Initially, you'll tell your family that your investments failed and you need money for turnover. Then, you'll tell friends there's an urgent family matter and ask to borrow money. When everyone around you has been borrowed from, you'll turn to various online lending platforms. Those seemingly convenient and fast loan apps are death warrants tailored for gamblers like you. Their interest rates are terrifyingly high, yet their approval process is unusually lenient because what they're after is your willingness to repay. You'll go to any lengths to borrow money to try and win it back. Thus, your debt snowball rolls larger and larger, from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands, and then to millions. You rob Peter to pay Paul, living every day bombarded by collection calls and despair about the future. Your character, dignity, and credit are utterly consumed through repeated borrowing and lies. During this process, it's not that you haven't thought about quitting gambling. Every time you lose everything, you'll cry bitterly in the dead of night, slap yourself, and swear never to touch it again. You delete the app, block the promoters, seemingly determined. But this determination often doesn't last more than 3 days. As soon as you have any money in hand, even just a few hundred for living expenses, the thought of breaking even will re-enter your mind like a demon. You'll tell yourself, just this one time, I'll quit immediately after breaking even, I promise. You might even find various theoretical justifications for your next gamble, studying new betting strategies, looking for so-called lucky signs, or simply praying to gods, hoping for a change of luck. But the result, without exception, is another wipeout and deeper despair. Why does this happen? Because what you're fighting against is not the casino, but the human weaknesses written into your DNA, and behind it, an entire human harvesting machine collaboratively built by mathematicians, psychologists, programmers, and businessmen. You think you're battling the dealer, but in reality, you're fighting against cold mathematical laws like the law of large numbers, probability theory, and the house edge. Every bet, no matter how logical it seems to you, gives the casino a slight probabilistic advantage, which we call the rake or juice. This advantage might only be a few percent, but over thousands of repeated bets, it acts like a precise pump, steadily and irreversibly draining your principal. Your occasional victories are merely normal fluctuations in probability, ripples that occasionally appear in this downward curve, but they cannot change the ultimate trend of returning to zero. Moreover, the design of the game itself is full of psychological traps. The near-miss effect of almost hitting it stimulates your competitiveness more than directly losing. Frequent small rewards continuously trigger dopamine secretion, creating dependence on gambling behavior. Lavish sound and light effects and fast payout rhythms constantly compress your thinking time, inducing impulsive betting. You are using your amateur, emotional, and flawed human brain to fight against a professional, rational, 24-hour nonstop money-making machine. This war, from the very beginning, you were destined to lose. So, let's go back to that question. Is it still meaningful to obsess over whether the platform rigs games? It's completely meaningless. Even if the platform is 100% fair, even if you're lucky enough not to encounter a scam site, even if you win money and can withdraw it smoothly, you still won't win. Because your biggest enemy is not the platform, not the agent, but the unresigned, always hopeful, never satisfied self in the mirror. This enemy you cannot defeat. If you win for 364 days and accumulate 10 million, but on the 365th day, you go on tilt, you could lose that 10 million principal and profit, back to the casino in a few hours, and even throw away the rest of your life. In gambling, long-term stable profit is a false proposition. It only applies to the bookmaker, never to the gambler. I've seen too many people who were once successful, ruined by gambling to the point where they were barely recognizable. Some bosses lost tens of millions of family assets, their factories closed, their families broke apart, and they ended up on the streets. Some civil servants embezzled public funds to gamble, eventually exposed, imprisoned, their careers destroyed. Some ordinary young people, who had happy families and loving relationships, just because they got involved in online gambling, lost all their savings, accumulated huge debts, and finally had to run, leaving their parents to cry themselves to sleep every day. These stories are not just news. They are living tragedies happening around us every day. In the world of gambling, there are no survivors, only victims at different stages. The only way to quit gambling is through physical isolation and psychological reconstruction. Delete all related apps and contacts, and distance yourself from all friends who are still gambling. Then, confess your debts and seek help from your family. This process will be painful and make you lose face, but it is your only chance for rebirth. Only when sunlight illuminates your long-closed inner world will you have the strength to face reality. Find a legitimate job, no matter how hard it is. Every penny earned will be clean and solid. Use your sweat to gradually repay your debts and mend the harm you've caused your family. This process might take 3, 5, or even 10 years, but at least it will allow you to live like a human being again. Stop researching whether platforms are real or fake. Stop pondering betting techniques. These are all illusions. In this carefully designed hunt, we gamblers are merely the prey from beginning to end. The only chance of winning is not in how you outmaneuver the hunter, but in whether you choose to enter that hunting ground at all. So, who cares if the platform rigs games? Who cares how the bookmakers profit? None of that concerns you. The only thing you need to remember, and the ultimate truth of this game, is not gambling is winning.